Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, which you most likely are, please hit subscribe because I have 2 subscribers. Today we are talking about things that I wish I knew when starting university. I kind of touched a little bit on this in my things I learned in university video. So the first thing is that keep an open mind with everybody you hang out with. There's a lot of people that come into your life that probably won't stay for a long time, like your Frosh Week friends. I loved them. They were really fun to hang out with my first week of residence and just Frosh Week, but we didn't stay in touch really after that at all. My next one is to cut manipulative people out as soon as they start displaying some odd traits. Nobody deserves to be treated poorly. There's already so much pressure with first year and just being in a new place for those of you who move away for school. There's just already so much pressure that you don't need anything added to that. At least I don't think. My third thing is taking time for yourself is totally okay. Not wanting to go to a party is so fine. There's no reason for you to go to every single party if you don't feel like it. If you want to, then by all means go ahead. But if it's not your scene, it's not your scene. If you feel uncomfortable, stay at home. And honestly, I think that staying home with some friends and having a bottle of wine, if it's legal where you live, is just a lot more fun than going to some random party where things are going to be sweaty and gross and just not fun. My fourth thing is saying no to certain things isn't always a bad thing. This year I learned a lot. At the beginning, when I first went to school, I was I'm going to say yes to everything that gets thrown my way. And I did for a little while, but I quickly realized that wasn't always a good choice. I did enjoy some of the things that I agreed to, but some of the other things that I agreed to, I was completely not fun. It just wasn't a good time for me. I knew going in it wouldn't be a good time, but I said yes because I told myself that I would. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to understand your limits. It's okay to accept that you don't want to do everything and that maybe in the future something will interest you, but right now it really isn't your thing. My next tip is that you probably won't fail any of your classes as long as you're putting a lot of work into them. I know a lot of people who complained about nearly failing a bunch of our classes, and honestly, I don't even see how that could have been possible if you put in effort and went to the lectures. I know that sometimes life gets in the way and that really sucks, but if you do your best and you work your hardest, you probably shouldn't fail, and it's okay to prioritize your work based on its value to you and its overall value. Certain things are weighed differently, so if you're putting all of your effort into the projects and the big things that take up 70% of your grade, and you're so exhausted by the end of that for your 30% final you're kind of not at 100%, it's okay to accept that you're probably not going to do well on the final. And even if you were to get a 40 on that final, if you got a 90 on everything else, you'll probably still pass the class, unless your professor's not very nice, then that kind of sucks. As long as you put your everything into things, grades can always be amended if you really wanted to. If you're the kind of person that can argue and can make a case for themselves, then by all means go argue your case if you felt that you put in all your effort. But honestly, just understanding that you can't succeed at everything. That's something that was really hard to learn. You're not going to be as perfect as the next person. Your friends are all going to be better at different things than you are, but you're also going to have your own strength. So kind of just weighing out, yeah, I might not be good at animation, but at least I'm good at Photoshop. And just kind of balancing that out. My next thing is that some professors will work you to the core. They will make you work so hard and you will feel like you have no reward. In one of my classes, I felt I was always being run down. I felt the things that I was doing was good, but my professor would say otherwise. And honestly, that really sucked. It was really hard for me to kind of just accept the feedback, but eventually you will just understand that they're really trying to help you. They're not trying to fail you. And at the time, it was really hard for me to kind of understand that, like, oh, this professor isn't trying to get me to drop out. He just wants me to do better and make the best project that I can. And that being said, like, I am special. I'm hoping to concentrate in that topic. Yeah, even though my grade wasn't perfect, the feedback that I got and like what I did with the feedback, I think goes a long way. My next thing, like, just to add to that too, there's one professor that everyone in my program complains about, and honestly, like, he owns a company that hires students to work in our industry, and I like the feedback that he gives is genuinely so important because, like, he literally looks for employees within us. So people who are scared to prove themselves to him or who are just like completely disrespectful to him and go around like spreading stuff about him is just, it's dumb. Like, it's a professor. A, he's a professor. He does not care about you, probably. B, most professors are actually really nice people outside of like your class. Like, I've run into this professor quite a few times just in public, and I've always had really nice conversations with him, and none of them had to do with project work or anything. Like, he'd ask like about like my weekend and stuff like that, and like he like professors aren't just professors, and like for me that's easier to understand than like teachers not only being teachers in high school, because you really only see them once every week. They often talk about their lives outside of school. Like, our professor would tell us about like him going on trips and stuff like that, and like his other job, his like main job. And then I'd run into him in the coffee shop and be like, "What's up, my dude?" It's like professors are really friendly people for the most part, and getting to know them is so much more beneficial. But I still want to learn more from him because he's a person, like, he's a good person, I guess. Like, he's a friendly person, but also like he's really hard on us and he will make us work. And that to me is like what you're paying for university for, is to work hard and is to learn. And you can't be babied around your whole life. And I thought that going into it, like, classes were going to be easy because I enjoyed the topic. So while I enjoyed the majority of my classes, they were in no way easy, pretty much across the board, plus or minus a couple of classes, but they were hard. They were really hard, and there were times where I did question what I was doing, but it's because of all of that pressure and like how strict kind of everything was that I kind of had the room to grow and understand pretty much most of what I learned. So had it not been for these really tough professors, I probably wouldn't have learned anything this year. Another thing is that if you're living in residence, it's an experience. And if you're like me and you're an introvert and you're overly organized, and I'm not like a clean person per se, but I'm a hygienic person. Like, my room is a mess, but it's a clean mess, if you know what I mean. Like, the laundry on my floor isn't dirty, it's clean kind of thing. But like, you might live with people that are utterly disgusting and are horrible to live with, and it sucks, and I had to go through that, and it just made me know what I didn't want in a roommate. And ultimately this year I ended up living by myself. I just decided to live by myself because I didn't want to go through the trouble of learning about a stranger's like quirks and the way that they live, and I didn't want to have to go through the same experiences I already had, because that can get really old really fast. But I have to appreciate the things that I learned from it, otherwise I'm gonna go insane. So yeah, and like, if you're living in a bigger city like I was, like, I moved from the middle of nowhere to Toronto, which is a fairly dense populated city. It's a big city, and I was really scared about a lot of things when I first moved there. Like, there was constantly people like harassing other people. Our school sends out like security incident emails, and like my inbox was always filled with those, and that was really scary for me. There was a lot of things that kind of happened, like violence and whatever in my area, that was just like really scary. But eventually you will grow to, like, it will turn into a normal thing. As sad as it is, like, it will become normal and you're gonna adapt to it. So just know that like things don't like don't stay scary forever. Once you wrap your head around everything going on, it'll be a lot more peaceful. It won't be scary anymore. It kind of becomes normal. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am like trying to record so many videos this week because I'm going away, and I'm really excited, but I don't want to break my upload schedule, so I have to just hope that everything comes on time for my trip. Otherwise, we may have an issue, but it's okay. I can deal with it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and please subscribe. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. Bye!